excited being here. I know I haven't got to be in here in a while. If I haven't had the privilege of meeting you in person, I hope I get that privilege. But in the meantime, my name is Jesse. I'm a pastor here at New Spring. This is a good crowd in the wire. This is fantastic. I tell you what, we're in the series called Real Friends. We're talking about friendship, which in middle school, such a big deal. And I know you guys know this. The first week, if you weren't here, Brian talked about how really this is why we do small groups in the wire, because we want you guys to experience community, specifically community that can help you grow, hopefully in your faith, right? And then last week we talked about how really if we want to find great friends, it starts with being a great friend. So I hope that was a good challenge for you. Today we are talking about friends and future. Just for my own sake, everybody say that. Friends and future. Those things are really tied together. But before I get to that, can I tell you a story of something crazy that happened to me? Is that okay? Honestly, it's a little embarrassing. Is that okay? Okay, this is not when I was in middle school. This was in high school. And it's funny. I remember some of you guys from 2B2 and 345, and I would say in there, I need to make the wise choice. Yeah, this is a story of Jesse making a lot of unwise choices, okay? So just bear with me. Hope you don't lose any respect for me, but here's the story. I was in high school. I used to work pretty late. I worked at Applebee's, and I'd get off work at Applebee's, and I had friends. And here's the thing. I'm the youngest of 5. Anybody the youngest in the room? Okay, whether you believe it or not, you get away with everything, okay? I tell my siblings this all the time. I got away with everything. I really didn't have a curfew growing up, and so I'm in high school. I'd get off work, and my friends, they were all in Wichita, because most of my friends were here in New Spring, and so I lived in right outside of Augusta, and they'd be like, dude, you should come over. You should come over and hang out. We could, watch a movie. And we would never accomplish anything. We would watch a movie. Half of us would fall asleep during the movie. Anyway, so there's sometimes after working at Applebee's, I'd get off work, and I'd drive to Wichita, and so I'd get off work at 11 o'clock or midnight, and then I would go hang out, which is a bad idea, okay? And so one particular time, I'm out till it was 1 in the morning, okay? On my way home, I'm on Woodlawn, turning onto 96, if you guys know where that is. And there's this white car that comes screaming down the off-ramp to Woodlawn, okay? So fast, it can't turn. It hits the median in the middle of Woodlawn, and it rockets over the median, and it skids to a stop in the oncoming traffic going the wrong way. There's no traffic because it's 1 in the morning, but it's going the wrong way. And me as a high schooler out at 1 in the morning when I shouldn't have even been out, I was like, that's not good. And I should have called the police or my parents, and they would have told me to call the police. But instead, I was like, I know what I should do. And I just pulled over this side of the road, and I was like, maybe I can help, which I know nothing, okay? I went to Augusta. I didn't know anything. And so I was like, hey, you guys need anything? And these two big guys, more muscle than I could ever dream of having in my life, they get out of the car, and they're like, oh, man, I told you not to turn that fast. And so I'm like, do you guys need anything? Can I call someone? At that point, I'm like, can I call someone for you? Probably already should have called somebody. And they're like, no, we just need a ride. If you could give us a ride, our aunt doesn't live far from here. We'll go get a truck and we'll tow our car. And of course, being a naive high schooler, I should have said no, but I said, okay, yeah, that sounds great. And so they get in my car with me. Now, my destination at 1 in the morning should have been home, okay? Instead, it's their aunt's house, okay? Now, my aunt, lived in the country. She had a black dog, and she was a really nice aunt. Their aunt lived somewhere different, okay? When we got to where their aunt lived, it was actually an alley. And in this alley, there are cars parked on either side of the alley the whole way down, and they're all, blaring music, walking around with cops and stuff. It was a place I should not have been ever, okay? This is a bad part of town. I'm in a dangerous position. Everybody's looking at this kid from Augusta, driving this Lincoln Town car. I'm just like, hello. And they're like, what is this guy doing? And so these guys get out, they're like, see ya. And I'm like, I get so muscly. And I'm like, okay. And so I just drive out of there. Everybody's looking at me. When I got back to the cops, because I went back the way I came, and there was cops there because there's a car on the wrong side of the road. And somebody, not a high schooler, called the police, okay? So anyways, I get there and they're like, hey, that was not smart. You should go home. And then the sergeant told me this. He's like, I'm really surprised they didn't just carjack you and take your car. And I was like, oh, cool. And so anyways, that's my story of a lot of unwise decisions. The reason why I tell you that story is because I wanted you to lose respect for me. No, the reason why I told you this story, and why did I start with that story? I said, it happened to me. Have you ever had your friends say that? You'll never believe what happened to me. My parents grounded me for no reason. You never believe what happened to me, right? I got an F on my test in chemistry, or in geography or whatever, okay? It happened to me. That's an interesting phrase. Because here's the thing. While that's true, sometimes things just happen. For instance, we talked about this before. We live in a sin-broken world, right? God made the world perfect, and then we broke it in the box. And there's just things that are a product of sin. You have a friend that got sick, sin, right? I mean, COVID, that's sin. Cancer, that's sin, right? It was a broken world. It's not that somebody specific sinned and God punished us with COVID. I'm just saying, like, the world's broken, I mean, it's broken. So some things do happen. But many times, and this is important, many times, what happened to you is actually something you chose for yourself. My destination drastically changed that night, didn't it? But it was not just something that happened to me. I mean, that's what I said. Can I tell you a story about something crazy that happened to me? The truth is, it is a series of choices that I made. I was out too late, should have been home. And then I didn't call the people that could help me. And then I said yes to some I allowed people into my car that should not have been in my car, right? And they drastically changed the destination that I was headed. And here's the thing. This is something that is just true. It's a principle. Your parents have just gotten done talking in a series about this, right? If I plant a tomato seed, I'll get and if I plant unwise choices, I'll get unwise harvest. If I plant wise decisions, I'll get wise harvest. Galatians says this, don't be deceived. God is not mocked. What a person plants, they will harvest. I planted some bad decisions. There's more to that story. I won't tell you now, but I had some bad product from it. But here's the thing. Your friends can lead you to really great decisions or really bad decisions, because here's the truth. Most of the time, we don't make choices in a vacuum. I never would have headed to that place I headed had I not invited those people into my car, right? My destination changed when my company changed. And here's my point. Your friends can help you make really great decisions. Your friends can also help you make really bad decisions. And what we just talked about is your choices are not just choices. Your choices are tied to your consequences. So if that's true, what do we do about it? I want to take you to a verse in the Bible. It's really, really cool. So here's the thing. If you're not familiar with your Bible's not one book. It's a series of 66 books written by dozens of different people over thousands of years. And the amazing thing is it all comes together to tell one story. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, anybody heard the phrase, experience is the best teacher? Yeah, okay, nobody. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, okay, some people, right? Experience is not the best teacher. Experience is the most expensive teacher because experience costs you time, right? I mean, I can make more money. I can get more opportunities. Do you know what I can't make more of? Time, exactly. This guy's got it. I can't make more time. And here's the thing. Experience costs you time. So experience is not the best teacher. It's the most expensive. Somebody else's experience is the best teacher, right? Because then I can learn from them without having to waste my time. And Solomon, if there was ever a person in the Bible that experienced almost everything you could imagine, Solomon was that guy. And not only that, but he was one of the wisest men to ever live. And toward the end of his life, he didn't do all the wisest things, but he did experience almost everything. And Solomon says this in the book of Proverbs. Everybody say Proverbs. Solomon writes most of Proverbs. In Proverbs 12:20, he says this. He says, the righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked lead them astray. Now, Solomon does this all through Proverbs. He compares the wise to the foolish. He compares the hardworking to the lazy. And in this one, he compares the righteous to the wicked. Now, in this, I don't mean like Paul would say, there's no one righteous, nobody, right? So that's in the Bible. So it's not like I think I'm righteous, but what Solomon is talking about here is people that want to do what God has for them and people that don't care about what God has for them, right? You fit into one of those categories. The truth is we all have the potential to be in the second category. Through Jesus, we have the potential to be in the first category, right? And so Proverbs says, he says, listen, the righteous choose their friends carefully. But look at this. The way of the wicked leads them astray. So ultimately, you could say, hey, Jesse, I'm making the greatest choices I could. And that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. You'll probably have a good harvest from that. But it's not just you. What choices are your friends making, right? My destination changed that night because of who I allowed in the car. And again, I know you're not driving, but metaphorically, who do you allow in your car? Who do you allow to influence you? Who do you allow to speak into the choices that you make? Because without realizing it, you might be changing your destination. You might be changing your consequences to the choices you make. So here's the thing. Another version says this. It says the way of sinners. It uses that instead of wicked, but it says it leads them down the wrong path. Where are you being led today? Where are you being led this morning? On Monday, when you walk into school and you hang out with your friends, where are you being led? Because the truth is, your friends, whether you realize it or not, are leading you. And you are leading your friends. That's kind of what Brian talked about last week was, hey, be the friend that you want to have. So your friends are leading you, and are they leading you down the wrong path? Because here's the truth. Just as much as good comes from good, trouble comes from trouble. And if we are not careful, we can get into a situation where we have our friends helping decide our consequences. I want to show you this. I don't know if anybody ever heard the phrase inner circle, okay? Okay, so I've got this iPad here. I'm going to draw a couple circles here, okay? This in the middle is going to represent you, and it kind of looks like a target, doesn't it? Aren't I a great artist? Yeah, no, okay, it's fine. You don't have to say that. Thank you. I know, I draw circles really well. Okay, all right, okay, so what's that phrase? That was your friends next to you got you to clap for something that's not worth clapping for. Okay, no, that's not the example today. Okay, here's the thing. In the middle is you, right? And the truth is, because here's, I think, the question that you would ask. You'd say, Jesse, last week, Brian was talking about like serving people, helping people out, being the friend that I would want to have. This week, it sort of sounds like you're saying I should like shut people out. And that's not what I'm saying. This verse, the verse we just read, it's not about judging people. Okay, listen, this is such a big statement. It's not about judging people. It's about what affects your judgment and making decisions. And you have people in your life, and some of them you're really close to, okay? Some of them you're sort of close to. And some of them, you're like, I don't know, we hang out, you know. And I want you to think about the people that you have in your corner. I mean, come on, think about that. Like this guy out here, okay? This guy represents the person that is in some of your classes at school. Like you know their name, they know your name, you hang out. Sometimes you sit by each other at lunch. That's great. There's nothing wrong with being friendly. You should be friendly to everyone. The question is, who's your real friend, right? So this person's not necessarily a real friend, but you can be friendly to him, of course. Be kind to him, that's great. Then over here, you got this guy. This guy is like, he's not just in classes with you, like he's in band with you, or he's on your sports team, or she's on your gymnastics team, or she's on your sports team with you, or whatever it is, right? I mean, she hangs out with you, he hangs out with you, you're good friends. Your parents kind of know each other, right? And then this one is like, oh, I don't know what I did there. This one is like okay, anybody have a friend that their parents will parent you? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. This is a person like you're close with. Like they know you, you know them. Their parents don't mind telling you, stop doing that. You know what I mean? You're just close. You hang out at each other's houses. You text each other. You are good friends. And here's my point. The people in that inner circle are people that are influencing you. I had a good friend that he said, I don't like to think of inner circles and outer circles. And I don't know if this imagery helps anyone in the room. He said, I think of a kingdom. He's like, if I've got my little kingdom, this is the drawbridge. You know, you got people that are hanging out in the kingdom. And then inside, you know, the kingdom is the actual castle you can go into. And this is like the courtyard. But here, this is the king's tower, is what he'd say. I don't know if that helps any of you. I don't know if any of you feel like a king. But this is the king's tower. Doesn't this look like a cell? Anybody want to learn about biology? The mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Okay. Anyways, the point is, thank you. Here's the thing. Who's in the tower of your castle? I don't know if that imagery helps you at all. I mean, this imagery is probably not, but that imagery in your mind might. Who's in the tower of your castle? Who's helping you make decisions? Who's telling you when you need to bring up the drawbridge? That person is not someone you need in your life. That person is not someone you need influencing you. That person is not someone you need in your car, Jesse. What are you doing? And again, what we're talking about, I'm not saying I shouldn't have stopped and helped those guys, right? What happened was I allowed them a place of incredible influence. All of a sudden, instead of me deciding where my car was going, they were deciding where my car was going. And here's the truth. Without realizing, sometimes we can allow people in here that are telling us where we should be headed. And guys, we need to be wise about the friends, the real friends that you choose. That's the bottom line for today. We'll put it up for you. Be wise about the friends, the real friends that you choose. Ladies, can I talk to you for a second? Putting a guy in your inner circle because he's cute and you like him, and like you start wearing different clothes because you want to impress him, and you want his friends to like you. That guy doesn't belong in your inner circle. I mean, you put him outside the drawbridge, okay? No, I'm just saying, like, you just say, like, hey, here's the deal. If you treat me with respect and honor, of course, but there's some people you're saying, hey, I know people, they put people in their inner circle, they're saying, well, I'm going to start changing how I dress. I'm going to start changing what I look like. I'm going to start changing what I say. I'm going to start changing what I do for a person that is not really on their side. I mean, listen, just be great friends with people. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have a boyfriend, okay? Trust me, you don't. Okay, guys in the room, listen, you have people in your inner circle. They can goof off with you. They make you laugh. They're funny. But dude, when it comes to like, I mean, okay, sure, it's fine to make you laugh, but then when it comes to your faith, like they make fun of that. Why is that person in your inner circle? Why are you letting them have influence? Like you're not the same you that you are here. You're one version here, and then on Monday, you flip the switch and you're different, Jesse, because you want your friends to like you. Why is that person in your inner circle? Who are you trying to impress? Because here's the thing, boys, listen, this is true. Your friends determine your future. You might not think it's true, but if you want me to tell you about your future, all I need you to do is tell me about your closest friends. Tell me what kind of choices they help you make. This is, by the way, listen, this is so big. Men and women, this does not mean you just have yes people in your corner, right? I've got a good friend of mine, and he would be in the inner circle for me. I was talking to this good friend the other day, and I was venting about a person. Man, I can't understand why he does this. I can't understand why he does that. You know what this guy told me? He said, Jesse, to me it sounds like with your attitude, you need to pray for him. Like punch to the gut, Jesus juke. Really, man? How are you gonna go? You're gonna go there on me? Oh, because I'm a pastor, right? Like, no, like listen, I need that. I need somebody that tells me, hey, I'm not gonna just tell you what you want to hear. And what I wanted to hear was, yeah, you're right, that guy's the worst. I didn't need to hear that. What I needed to hear is, hey, who are you called to be, Jesse? Listen, ladies and men in the room, if you guys have people in your corner that are afraid to tell you the truth, they say, hey, listen, the way you're acting, I know you go to the wire. I know what you say you believe. That doesn't line up with Jesus. You need friends like that. We need to be friends like that because your friends determine your future. Can I pray for you guys? Here's what I want to pray for you. I want to pray that we are wise about the friends that we choose. I would pray that you guys choose your friends carefully. Be careful about who's in your inner circle. And then also, listen, this is big. Spend time with them. I'm not talking about creating a clique. Okay, that's a red flag right there. I'm talking about, like, this is why we have small groups in the Wire so people can encourage you in your faith. Make coming to the Wire a priority. Tell your parents, man, I can't miss the Wire. I gotta be around the friends that encourage me in my faith. Prioritize that time, and God will bless you for it. Father God, I pray for every student in this room. I pray for every adult in this room. Lord, help us to realize that the people we put in our inner circle, the people we put in that tower with us, the people we allow in the car with us, help determine our destination. That our friends so many ways impact our future, so help us to be careful like the righteous. Be careful to choose our friends carefully, to be wise about it, Lord. And we trust that as we do that, they'll help us to make the decisions that draw us closer to you. And we pray this in Jesus' name. All God's children said.